Perivale Wood, and welcome to National Moth Night, National Moth Night Day, or National Moth Day, something like that anyway. It's an event here in the UK every year where we try to engage the public, show them moths and teach people a few things about them. And each year it moves around the year and has a different theme, and one of the themes this year is day flying moths, of which there are quite a few. In fact, there are more day flying moths in Britain than there are butterflies, and we'll come to that in a minute. So what we thought we'd do is have a quick wander around the east of the wood here and see what we can find, if anything, on the wing, and we'll have a look and generally see what's about. I'm going to quickly show you something I've got in a pot, which was a moth I found earlier. It was flying during the day. Now is this going to focus? And although this was flying during the day, this is one that would typically be regarded as a night flying moth. But this is a common wave moth. It's a fairly common species. Feeds on a wide variety of things, but was flitting around the vegetation earlier today, so I quickly grabbed that, so we'll definitely at least have seen one on this broadcast. So that's a common way, but what we'll do is we'll go for a walk into the reserve, probably down the east edge, up the edge of the wood, and then back down through the meadows, and we'll see what we can see flying, see what we can get on camera. I have got down here a net, so I will try and, if we need to, well, that's going to be quite hard one-handed. I am still getting used to the functionality of YouTube as a live streaming mechanism. It's not the platform I've used typically in the past, but the ones I've used have stopped being available, so there may be the odd pause when I try to work out how to do something, but with any luck we'll at least see some interesting wildlife, hopefully some moths, point them out and talk about them. A couple of other things to note. I left at home the gimbal I usually use on these broadcasts to stabilise the image when I'm moving, so it may be a bit more wobbly than normal. Apologies if that's a problem for you. So there's some other people in here. I can hear some voices, so we might just go the other way to let them get past. Let's go this way and let those people past first. See if there's anything. I'm not particularly expecting there to be anything around in here, but we will see. But really just letting people go past so they're not broadcast without warning. Okay, looks like they've wandered on, so we'll actually, whilst we're here, why don't we just check on some of the caterpillars, or some of the moths we've been rearing on in here. See if anything else has come out. These are the ones I'm expecting to be emerging around about now, which are the buff tip pupa. 3 of them have already come out. There were 4. One of them is still an intact pupa, so not out yet. But since we'd wandered this way, we'll have a quick look at that. We'll go back onto the planned route now. Wander up the eastern hedge path, which is the path beside the hedge on the east of the wood. Many of the names here don't make it that difficult for you. And we will see there is to see flying up here. Quite nice dense growth there. So we've moved into spring now. Everything's really come to life. And just keeping the paths open is going to take a lot of effort from our volunteers. Well, here's a non-moth. Oops, where is it? Why can't I see that? There we go. That's a harlequin ladybird. Harmonia axyridis. This is an invasive ladybird species. Quite attractive, but potentially problematic for several of our native species. And we'll wander a bit further up the path. Keep my eye open for any day flying moths. We'd like to have the most success with them in the meadow, which we'll go into in a little while. But we'll walk up this way. There's something I want to check up here and also see how it's working. So over there we've got the meadow. We'll go through there in a minute. And the flowery meadows are likely to be better for finding things. And on this side, of course, we've got the woodland. Quite a dense understory as well. We'll check this. I'm not particularly hopeful, but we will have a look. So this is a pheromone lure trap. This is designed to attract insect moths of the clear wings, and it uses a synthetic pheromone. And theoretically, that resembles that little bung up there resembles the scent of the female moths and draws in the males. Can't see any at the moment. It is slightly early in the season and not the warmest and sunniest of days, so I wasn't very optimistic anyway. But that's one of the survey methods we use, is these synthetic pheromones. We certainly do get some of the clear wings here, and I suspect on a better day and a bit later in the season we would find some of them. However, for now, it appeared unused. Things are getting a bit sunnier now. We're under the shade of the trees here, of course, but I can see sun on the meadow, so that's a little more encouraging. Certainly when I was around earlier there were things flying over this meadow, so hopefully they won't all have disappeared because a camera's been brought out. But the capacity of wildlife to seemingly notice the camera and run away is remarkable. Right, so we're going to go over the stile here, into the meadow, see what there is to see. I see a couple of butterflies flying. Okay, well, into the meadow now. There are lots of buttercups, which are the bulk of the yellow flowers you can see. There's some cuckoo pint or lady's smock, which is this whitish pink one. And definitely some butterflies about. We'll see if we can find one close enough to get a good look at. Well, there are certainly plenty of plants in flower, which is encouraging. I am seeing a few butterflies flitting ahead of us, nothing I've close enough to get on camera at the moment. But with any luck we'll find something. Yeah, what's that? There's a mayfly here. Again, not a moth, we're finding more non-moths. There's a nice mayfly perched up here. Oh, they're attractive. And in May, hence the name. They do obviously occur in other months, but they tend to be something we get in spring, so but they've sort of acquired the name mayfly. Ah, here's something flying. See See if this lands. It's a common blue butterfly. It might land on a flower and take some nectar. We'll just give it a moment. Okay, it's landed down here. Let's try and zoom in. Well, hopefully you at least briefly saw that. That was a butterfly. Now the theme is day flying moths, but taxonomically speaking, butterflies and moths are the same thing. Butterflies are just a small group in the middle of the order Lepidoptera, which includes butterflies and moths. And there isn't really a sort of scientifically sensible group that includes all of the moths and excludes the butterflies. So butterflies are probably best thought of as just a slightly unusual group of day-flying moths with some particular characteristics that distinguish them from most of the other moths. Here's another common blue. Just flew through the screen, probably very pixelated. It's looking like it might be looking to settle down again. Here we go. So it's off again. And got the wind up its tail there. There's several common blues flying over the meadow here though. As the name suggests, they're a fairly common species, and the males at least are blue in colour, although the females are brown. They are named after the males primarily. Look, again, some of the females can show some blue colouring as well. Anyway, decent numbers and groups of these buttercups. A good source of nectar. Here's a little bumblebee of some kind enjoying the nectar down here. I'm not sure if I can tell what type of bumblebee that is. So again, another not a moth, which we're meant to be looking for, but insects enjoying the nectar here in the meadow. Here's a moth just flown up. This is going to be a burnet companion moth. So again, it's on this buttercup down here. And this is a day-flying moth. It's called a burnet companion. Fairly distinctive orange patterns of orangey brown patterns and hind wing. Fairly easy to see. And they fly low over this sort of grassland habitat. Disturbed easily by day. Certainly here, burnet companion is one of the commoner of the day-flying moths that we flush out of these meadows here. So it's a fairly brief walk today. So the building you see ahead is where we started from on this walk. Not going any real distance, just looping around the two sides of this meadow. Trying to keep my eyes off the screen and onto what's around so I can find us things to look at. More bumbles. Enjoying the nectar from these buttercups. And there we go. We probably make a stop here, turn around, just look back up the meadow. That's a good place to stop whilst I film. So we've seen one, strictly speaking, day flying moth, the Burnet companion. We saw a common wave, which I'd picked up earlier, which was flying around during the day. And we've seen at least common blue butterfly, and the butterflies of course are really just day flying moths in disguise, just a type of day flying moth. So we found a few things, found a few other insects, had a nice little walk, nice sunny day, and I think I will therefore sign off there. And if you are interested in moths, Moth Night is still going tonight. There may well be, if you're in the UK anyway, there may well be public engagement events going on in your area. If you look up Moth Night on the internet, you'll be able to find out what event is going on and where you can go and find out even more.